There are some big enthusiasts you come across to big enthusiasts of gambit openings. Gambit openings, well, let me tell you something. There is no opening in chess, modern chess theory, that starts with or ends, that has word gambit in it, is entirely sound. There is a king's gambit. Well, queen's gambit is the only exception, because this queen's gambit accepted or declined. It's not really a gambit when one side gives a pawn and gets it back 2 moves later. But real gambits are the gambits where you give up a pawn and you don't expect to get it back. So one of those gambits, and what I want to talk about now, is a Blackmar Diemer Gambit. Blackmar Diemer Gambit is, well, starts with moves. Well, it can start with any move. It can start with the move e4 or d4. Well, for example, after e4, knight f6, knight c3, d5, it started like Alekhine, and after d4, it turns into a Blackmar Diemer Gambit. So, but normally Blackmar Diemer Gambit starts with moves d4, knight f6, knight c3. Now white wants to play e4, and after d5 they play e4. You see, we got the same position as we started. We can start with Alekhine defense. So anyway, after e4, there are number of continuations for black here. Main move is de, but simple move, if you want to do it, this gambit is not sound. Now, the simple way to get some, even not just equalize, but to get some advantage even for black, the simple way that you can learn real quick is knight takes e4. Now, knight takes e4, d takes e, and black is a pawn up. Now, what can we say about this position? Is there an immediate way? Is there a way where white can immediately get their pawn back? No, there isn't. Now, does white have enough development advantage, enough of any kind of advantage, to justify a loss of a central pawn? Absolutely not. There are 2 ways to play for white here. One way is to go f3, and the other way is to go bishop e3. f3 is the main move. That's how white would probably play if they play this opening against you. But however, let's look at bishop e3, bishop f5. We're going to go, and after knight e2, e6, and knight g3, we can go simply bishop g6. We're not going to give them back pawn. So h4, h5. And on bishop e2, we simply go knight to d7. And you see, seems like white has enough pressure on h5 pawn to take it and to win this pawn. But it's not so. After bishop takes h5, bishop takes h5, and knight takes h5, black can simply go g6, knight g3, and rook takes h4, and black is still up a pawn. Well, I don't think you're going to see anyone playing you in this position. Bishop e3 move. So the main move is f3. So let's continue with f3. We go bishop f5. Now, probably c3. What can white... Well, of course, black could have taken, but we don't want to develop white's pieces. After ef, we don't want to help white to develop. No. We're going to develop our piece, and also we maintain the extra pawn. If white goes c3, for example, we go e6, bishop e3, and white is waiting when black is going to take on f3 to develop the knight with the tempo. Now we can go bishop e7. After fe, bishop takes e4, queen g4. I'm just giving you the game that was played that relatively good player played with black, and he got an advantage. Bishop g6. I'm just quoting you. There is no theory developed in this variation. So I'm just saying a simple way for black to get a better position. Knight d7, and if knight d2, knight f6, white has absolutely nothing for a pawn. White has no initiative, and they have, well, knight d2 was not necessary, of course, but then if white goes bishop e2, then we go knight f6, queen g3, knight e4, and queen is very uncomfortable, and we having central position even after knight d5. We having central position, we having an extra pawn, and there's nothing white has that we don't have, and white is a central pawn down. This is totally unsound opening, and you shouldn't waste much time studying it. You should just learn one line, the one I just showed you, and you're ready to crush this opening. That's a very convincing play to play against this opening. Again, quickly, d4, d5, well, it depends on what opening do you play, whether you play d5 for black or knight f6, or you can start with knight f6, and after knight c3 you go d5 and e4. Again, knight takes e4. Simple, very easy way to get an advantage against totally unsound Blackmar Diemer Gambit. That's all you have to know about it.